Next week begins the very long-awaited Tournament of Power. So naturally, we better get into the crazy predictions now before it's too late. Hey everyone, Undr here, and today's video is going to be just a smidge different than previous discussion videos. The Tournament of Power is just a week away, and so many, how is this going to go down? Ideas are floating around the interwebs. It's been impossible to avoid some of these discussions, and many of us Dragon Ball fans have had similar ideas to how all this might go down. But this arc, much like many other tournament arcs, is going to be a little difficult to predict 100%. And while you can look at the brackets and say, well, this fighter should easily win this match, or surely Goku will be the one to win the fight against a big baddie in the end, with a battle royale setting such as this one, things get a little more interesting. Take Krillin. If this were a single elimination 1v1 style tournament, Krillin wouldn't last all that long. Sure, he'd win a match or two, maybe, but in the end, he would, not be around for the exciting conclusion to the competition. This time, he might. Heck, so might any character who hasn't been blessed by Toriyama with Saiyan genealogy. I know, crazy to think about. So yeah, this can be widely speculated on, and since it's very easy to assume that Universe 7 will win considering the fact that we know they can't be killed off, well, not forever, it doesn't mean 100% that they have to win to keep the status quo. In fact, the very idea that the audience knows that they need to survive might give the creative teams an irresistible need to throw everything on its ear and have Universe 7 lose. And if Universe 7 is to lose, there's no reason why characters such as 18, Ten Shinhan, Roshi, or Krillin can't be the last man standing for their universe. But this is all just to preface my more specific ideas for this tournament. With this video, I have a lot of little ideas that really don't carry much evidence. Hence, them not getting their own discussion videos. So many of these will simply be me stating the general idea and a quick bout of reasoning to back it up to some degree. Then, right on to the next one. Hit versus Jiren. Hit has been set up as an adversary that has no qualms about killing anyone at all, even the people he actually likes. After all, for Hit, business is business, and his business is killing fools. And what bigger fool is there in Dragon Ball but Goku? Heck, Goku even placed a hit on himself, and he couldn't prevent Hit from killing him. I mean, he placed a hit on himself, and he still failed. I mean, he did have Emergency Plan B in effect, but Hit did in fact kill Goku, at least for a short amount of time. However, Dragon Ball, and really most shonen anime, love the trope of having the previous enemy destroyed by the new enemy to show how big the new threat is. And while it's not always the previous bad guy, it's almost always a character whom we respect the strength of, at least to some degree. First it was Yamcha's job. He was stronger than most people at the time. But then it was Vegeta's, and that's right. I am comparing Yamcha to Vegeta, and it is apt. It is incredibly apt. Okay. Anyway, this time around, we have Hit. Hit is a character whom we've learned about. We've seen his playful side. We've even seen that he has a compassionate side. And we've also seen just a fraction of his new power. And while, yes, I do believe that Hit will show us this incredible power in the tournament to the bewilderment of Goku and company, I believe he will be taken down with relative ease by Jiren. Jiren isn't of the same league as previous adversaries in Dragon Ball. He's not a tyrannical ruler like Piccolo Daimao or Frieza. He isn't out looking for a strong opponent to fight like Cell or any of the Saiyans. He isn't just some mindless killing machine like Buu either. He isn't a bored god, nor is he a god with a god complex. He is a warrior of justice. Just as we might look at Goku and say, nah man, Goku's the good guy. The good guy will always prevail one way or the other. This could be said for Jiren as well. Heck, they could have made a second series leading up to the Tournament of Power, following Jiren and the Pride Troopers, and both of them would garner fans wanting them to come out on top. Jiren fights for justice. Jiren fights for peace. Jiren fights to defend those who cannot defend themselves. This is what makes him so incredibly dangerous, and why I feel Hit will be used as fodder to build up hype around Jiren. Also, Jiren and Hit has this weird synergy in their abilities, which is, an absolute must to see play out. I was beaten to this topic by several other YouTubers, bigger ones, so I was like, nah, I didn't bother making a video on it, but it does bear mentioning for this. Kale. So if there was any way to distract away from Jiren's clear advantage in power, it's Kale in her Berserker Saiyan form. This is clearly her universe's trump card, and she will likely need to be protected in this tournament at Caulifla and Kaba. But when she is set off, she will be a beast. And if Caulifla being defeated or severely injured is what triggers her transformation, will there be anyone around that can settle her down? Kaba certainly can't. I mean, we've seen him try to do it. He's not a candidate for this. The only options at this point would be by her own defeat, her slaughtering everyone, or her managing to control her new power, which I honestly think she'll be able to do. Her trigger before was her own inadequacies, her lack of self-confidence. Could this new form of hers give her the confidence boost she needs to actually start to control it? This is kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, I'm so weak, everybody needs to help me. Oh wait, I just destroyed 20 people without thinking about it. I guess I'm not really that weak. Oh wait, I suddenly got a grasp of this. You know what I mean? And personally, I certainly hope she does learn to control it. The Universe 6 Saiyans have some of my favorite characters in the franchise. You know, such primal power hidden behind very human attributes. I really do find these particular characters, Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale, to be very interesting, and I hope that Kale is able to become more than just a savage berserker who can't mesh her two sides to herself. Ten Shinhan's role revealed. Ten Shinhan is the odd one out of Universe 7. Prior to the nonsensical power scaling that happened, he would have been listed as around the 7th strongest fighter on the team. Sure, some people believe that Krillin is stronger, but the guy stopped training. He grew incredibly weak during this time. He was getting hurt by bullets, something that didn't even faze him as a child in Dragon Ball. Ten Shinhan never stopped training. In fact, he opened a dojo to further his training. But now it's been hinted as he's been hinted as being weaker than even Muten Roshi. Personally, I believe it was a combination of the talisman, Ten Shinhan's unwillingness to go all out, and maybe him, underestimating Roshi, and the particular technique he, used on him. I mean, it was a move Roshi used specifically to detain stronger people. People stronger than himself, he could detain them. So, I believe that's what allowed Roshi to beat Ten Shinhan really easily, but whatever, Ten Shinhan's role may have been actually hinted at in episode 96. When we were introduced to Universe 4's team, it was quickly noted that they only had 8 players. Gohan was the first to take note of this. Goku then attempts to count to 8, but took too long, so Piccolo assures him that there was in fact only 8 people present. 18 also makes mention of this. 2 of the smartest characters, the strongest character, and the shrewdest character all failed to notice something that Ten Shinhan discovered. That in fact there were 10 people, and that their signatures were just incredibly faint. I feel that this is opening Ten Shinhan's role as a spotter. I feel he will take charge in some ways in calling out positioning and alerting to sneak attacks against Universe 7. In Dragon Ball, it was noted by Ten Shinhan that his perception was incredible and that speed alone wouldn't be able to fool his eyes. His 3 eyes, that is. I imagine that Ten Shinhan will be key to unveiling Universe 4's secret members and their abilities. I also suspect that this is going to be what gets Ten Shinhan eliminated. He'll work at trying to figure them out while defending his team. Universe 4 will realize that he's nearly figured them out and team up on 10 before he even is able to relay the message, at least in full, to the rest of the team. What this does is it lets the viewer slowly figure it out for themselves along with Ten Shinhan, but a large focus on a popular character who hasn't gotten much attention, create a dramatic moment and an excuse to give a weaker fighter an honorable elimination, and finally set up a new threat to Universe 7. And it's a really good way of explaining what Universe 4 is all about without making it known to the rest of the cast. It's kind of like Ten Shinhan will be narrating the actual situation with this Universal team in a way that we find out what the deal is. It adds drama from Ten Shinhan's point of view, gives him a larger role, lets him get eliminated in a way that, oh, he just got destroyed. Well, yeah, if a whole team comes after you, sure. But it'll give the viewer all this information without ever cluing in Universe 7. I like the idea, and honestly, that's the only role I can see for Ten Shinhan unless they're going to use him as fodder, which I certainly hope they do not do. Frieza and Frost. So yeah, Wow, this is probably the most unpredictable character interaction that we've seen coming from a mile away. We've had so much time to acclimate to what is going to happen between Frieza and Frost when they finally meet, and yet we really don't have a clue. How in the world is this going to play out? Both Frieza and Frost are incredibly underhanded, but at the same time are outcasts in their own universe. They both actually have an opportunity for redemption if they only choose to reach out for it. Frieza is still relying on someone else to resurrect him, and Frost needs to become a hero. He needs to actually come home from this tournament a hero to be allowed back into society. But at the same time, will they? Do either of them have it in them to help themselves? Now, I don't want to look down on Frost too much. We don't know a ton about him. It's unfair to say he's a Frieza clone and he'll do exactly what Frieza does. But Frieza, I don't think Frieza has it in him. Quite simply, I suspect that Frieza will betray Frost at some point. And, I mean, first of all, they sort of have to betray one another. The only way for either of them to survive is to either win the tournament for their respective universe, or be saved by the Super Dragon Balls by the hands of the other. And the idea that Frost or Frieza would be the one that suddenly gets to make a wish on the Super Dragon Balls, they would have to, like, screw over their own team to even go that far. And it's even then, it's incredibly unlikely that the Super Dragon Balls can even undo something that Xeno-sama does himself. If he, like, deletes you from existence, can the Super Dragon Balls even do anything about that? Because you do not exist. You cannot be brought back. I mean, it's like trying to move a file on your computer. Sure, your computer is capable of it, but if it's completely removed from your computer's going to be like, what are you talking about? What? No, there's no target. I know it's a weird comparison there, but I mean, I really just don't see the Super Dragon Balls being able to undo something Xeno-sama does. Now, of course, there could be a way to save him, like, oh, I wish, maybe they get to make the wish before the deletions, you know? So, we'll see how that goes. I think I want to do a whole video on Frieza and Frost because I really answered nothing here. I have no real prediction, but I felt like they needed to be brought up in this video. Krillin cowers. Yep, as much confidence as Krillin has shown in the previous episodes leading up to this arc, I totally see him once again getting freaked out. So much so that others will have to come and defend him again. Goku, Gohan, 17, Ten Shinhan, Roshi, even Frieza could be candidates for babysitting duty. But what if 18 becomes injured or eliminated due to his inaction? Could Krillin get his own "My Bulma" moment with 18? Sorry, I've never done that voice and it probably came out horribly. But yeah, probably not exactly the same, considering his anger would be more directed at himself rather than an actual opponent. But I honestly do see that being a moment for Krillin to actually grow. I mean, not vertically. Heck, he's actually gotten shorter since Super began. I mean, like, he's a full foot shorter in Dragon Ball Super than he was in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, have you guys noticed this? It's gotten a little ridiculous. But anyway, something like this will allow Krillin to fight to protect 18, despite 18 not really needing Krillin's protection. Let's face it, 18 is likely still stronger than Krillin, and Krillin's actually trying. So, I mean, 18 is clearly the stronger person all in all. Not just strength-wise, but personality, emotional. 18 is superior to Krillin in terms of being an all-around person. And let's face it, who here thinks Toei and Toriyama is actually going to have 18 be the hero of Universe 7? I'd certainly love it. It would certainly be an amazing twist away from what Toei and Toriyama would normally do. But if they're going to eliminate 18, they're going to have her go out a hero. And honestly, I think that I don't think she's tired of being the support structure of her family, but I think she wants to see Krillin grow. I think she wants to see Krillin fully take control of that role. You know, she wants him to be capable of it. She's not... Again, I want to do another video on their relationship because it's a more interesting relationship than a lot of people give it credit for. So, and 18 in particular is a much deeper character than what people want to give her credit for. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. I'm just to rehash. I think that Krillin's going to freeze up. He's going to doubt himself. He's going to become inactive. He's going to have to rely on others. And the one who's going to take the sacrificial blow for him will be 18. and that will be enough to get him to hate himself and who he's become. Because Krillin used to be an arrogant little punk in Dragon Ball. He used to think he could do anything. And then it seems like the moment that he died and got resurrected, or maybe even a little later when he got tail whipped by Raditz, he's become like a coward? I mean, it's not his fault, mind you. I mean, nobody under those circumstances should be, confident in themselves. It takes a very unique person to do that. And to his credit, he's always stood up. He's always gone back, even if he was scared. So Krillin is an amazing person in that right. But I think this will be the moment where he stops being the inactive, standing in the background, waiting for someone else to do something, waiting for Goku to come and save the day, waiting for Gohan to go beast mode, waiting for his wife to jump in. I think he's done with that. And I think this is something that 18's been trying to push him towards for a long time. Goku doesn't win? Okay, look, I mean, it's basically 50-50 here. I mean, he's not certainly undefeated in Dragon Ball. He's no longer the uncontested strongest character. Heck, this entire arc has been about elevating other characters while Goku continually gets them all into trouble. But with all that said, why bother with a battle royale if Goku and Vegeta were the only two strong fighters from their universe? Actually, I kind of like Vegeta. Anyway, all that power scaling could just have been an excuse to give Goku more enemies to fight. I mean, who knows? All those characters being boosted up might have just been to give Goku a bigger stage. Alright? I'm leaning towards Goku not winning because there are so many other potential outcomes this time around. It's not like, who is going to defeat Zamasu? Where the only answers were Trunks, Vegeta, or Goku, though admittedly, all three of those were wrong, and it was actually Zeno, but even that, it's more predictable than what's going on in the Tournament of Power, and that's kind of my point here. There are so many options that Goku winning, the most obvious one, doesn't seem very appetizing. I don't think Toei is going to go with that, and Toriyama, he's shown that he doesn't need Goku to be the number one hero. I mean, as much as we want to say, Dragon Ball is a Goku show, it's occasionally not him. I mean, we've had Gohan, we've had Vegeta, back in the day, we've had people like Roshi, Tenshinhan. These characters have actually come forward and done things. Piccolo against Raditz. I mean, Goku might have been the sacrificial lamb here, but it was Piccolo that not only defeated Raditz in the end, but managed to overcome his own personal grudges and ended up training his worst enemy's son and giving us one of the strongest characters we know now. So I'm going to lean towards Goku not winning this. It's totally not the biggest prediction in the world. In fact, all the odds are against him. The only thing that's going in his favor is main character syndrome. And as powerful as Goku gets by getting trained after God after God after God, the way, the unfair advantages that main characters tend to get, Toriyama in the past has been like, that doesn't mean Goku's going to win. And honestly, I can see him happening here. The Daishinkan isn't a bad guy. I know, right? Having one of your predictions be that a fan theory isn't true is an awfully odd prediction. But this prediction has gained so much ground leading up to this arc that it almost feels like an inevitability. That being said, the more I watch this arc, the more I'm distracted away from this idea. Now, could this be clever storytelling in that it deliberately is making us forget about the Daishinkan's complete and utter power, over what happens? Maybe. But there are so many other potential outcomes that could lead to a bigger and better story, stories down the road, that I don't feel the Daishinkan being the big baddie is a real thing. Add that to Whis, and we have a very much beloved character at this point who would likely be peeled away from the good guys, and suddenly you have a really unfortunate situation that might not be mendable. I mean, making Whis' father and his whole family, essentially, go against our main characters would force Whis to actually be the one unique sibling that decides, I don't care for my father's opinion very much. Which he's never taken strong stances on anything. I imagine he'd just go with the flow. And if you put him in this situation, he would become an enemy. And I don't see how that betrayal would be easily overlooked. Now, let's be honest here. We've had bad guys become good guys in the past. Vegeta, Tenshinhan, Piccolo, all three of these characters are characters that were horrible people when it came to the main characters. I mean, Ten Shinhan broke Yamcha's leg for fun, which is actually hilarious. Piccolo tried to destroy the world, and Vegeta tried to blow up the world. But the thing is, they all started as bad guys, and then they became good. There was no betrayal. The closest thing that we had to a betrayal was Vegeta kind of snapping and allowing him to become possessed by, become Majin Vegeta. But even that was more of a, look, we understand how you feel, Vegeta. This isn't, you're still transitioning. You're still becoming one of us. And for Whis to go being, hey, look, I love you guys. I'm going to train you. I want to make you strong. We're friends. And then suddenly be like, nah, screw your whole universe. That doesn't seem like it's something that's going to be easily mendable. I feel like if that happens, Whis is done. He's going to end up dying, or he's going to end up being removed from the universe. He's just going to be removed from the story if he becomes a bad guy in any way, shape, or form. So I just don't see the Daishinkan becoming a bad guy, because I don't see any way for Whis in particular to get out of it. No universes are actually destroyed. Yeah, big shocker here. Look, let's be blunt. Universe 7 can't be destroyed, or at least the contents within it can't be. Universe 6's diverse cast of characters are arguably more interesting than the main cast. Destroying them would be a massive waste. The most good guys, I did a little quotation, like little finger quotes over the first good and good guys here, are Universe 11. Killing them off would, and having them ultimately fail to save their universe would be very non-Dragon Ball thing to do. I just don't see any of these universes biting it. Now, admittedly, when I mentioned Universe 11 and having the good guys lose and be destroyed and everything they're trying to protect be wiped out, we've seen that happen before, very recently. I mean, Future Trunks, Future Mai, they failed to save their world, their people. Everything got destroyed. And these aren't just nameless people. Some of them were named. One of them was Yajirobe, a character from Dragon Ball. Granted, he didn't get much, nobody really cared about him, story-wise, from like Dragon Ball Z onward. But the simple fact is, we have seen the good guys lose everything, and then things just move on like it was nothing. So it is possible, but I don't see it happening. I don't see the Pride Troopers, a group that is seen as heroic, a group that is seen as trying to save their universe, a group that we've seen a few times have little side stories wherein they are the quintessential good guys. Alright? For them to lose, for them to fight hard and lose, and have Goku be the reason, not just for the tournament, but let's say Goku beats Jiren, or Toppo, or whoever the last remaining fighter is, for them to actually have the entire Universe 11 and the good guys from that universe be killed by Goku, I don't see it. It makes Goku it's no longer subjective whether he's good or bad. His actions caused the entire destruction of a universe led by heroes that wanted to protect everyone. In fact, Universe 11 might actually be the ones who say, Universe 7's evil. They're evil, they're horrible people, but if they win and use the Super Dragon Balls to prevent their destruction, because that's just how good they are. That's how I feel Universe 11 is. So I can't see Universe 6 and 7 or 11 being destroyed. And if all three of those get to survive, I don't see any reason why you destroy the other ones. Right? So, yeah, I just don't see any of these universes biting it. And while you could tie Universe 6 and 7 together, as one might save the other and the rest could get destroyed, this still leaves Universe 11 out. It wouldn't fall into this category. So no, I don't think anyone will be killed off due to the tournament itself. And this brings me up to my final point. The Tournament of Power will lead directly into another arc. Like I said, I don't see anything bad happening to any of these universes directly due to the Tournament of Power. That doesn't mean I don't think there won't be any casualties. In fact, if there turns out to be no risk from the tournament itself, even if we don't find out till the end, the ending of the arc will be incredibly anticlimactic. We saw something similar happen with the Future Trunks arc, right? Failure meant nothing. Trunks and Mai were apparently happy enough to let all their friends and family die to go to surrogate friends and family in a different timeline. It was weird. Toei and Toriyama understand that people did not like that ending. So, I just don't see it happening like that. Instead, I do see a rogue universe, or a rogue character, Frieza, managing to turn themselves into a multi-universal threat. While sure this could be a reason to believe that the Daishinkan is a potential bad guy, I sort of want to veer away from that. Now, I get it, he definitely fills that role. But I do want to veer away from that a little bit. Now, that's not to say it's not completely impossible, but it really doesn't fit part of my personal prediction, which is what this video was all about. Look, guys, I could keep rambling on and on about this. And yes, I know I've been rambling. This is mostly off script. There are a ton of things to cover. Universes I didn't even touch up on. The fact that Universe 4, while I did talk about them a little bit, they're still an incredibly interesting universe to me. And I feel like I just don't know enough about them. I want to know enough about them. I want to know more, but I don't have enough to talk about. So things like that, I wish I could just keep going on and on about, but I really have nothing new to add. But alas, there simply isn't time for me to go over all of these things. I honestly just wanted to get my ideas and predictions out there, get them documented on YouTube prior to the tournament itself actually beginning. Because why not, right? Have all these little dumb ideas in my head. I might as well have them out there before they're, proven or deconfirmed or what have you. But what do you guys think? Do any of my ideas even seem plausible? What predictions of your own do you have? Or maybe you're watching after the tournament is concluded. How do you think my predictions actually fared? I mean, did you want to make fun of me, how terrible they were? Did I get anything actually right? Just whatever it is, just leave a comment in the section below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm Undr, and I'll catch you all later. Side note, if you heard birds in the background, it's incredibly hot and I have my window open. Listen to them. If you can't hear them, this is going to be really awkward.